We just started podcasting. We barely had a year, if that. And yeah, I'm having an old friend over, in his pajamas to talk about masturbation.
In the bedroom alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't mind us. We're having a threesome right now.
Welcome to the White Collar Awakening podcast, where each time I speak with people who are trying to, or who have actually escaped the rat race that we have grown up in, we will find the ways that people have escaped the matrix. We will get personal. No topic is off the table or too taboo. Now, today I am speaking with two amazing women, Mandy and Shanna. They are the extremely talented hosts of the very popular Sense of Soul podcast, which is about to surpass 500,000 downloads. And the purpose of the Sense of Soul podcast is to universally connect with like-minded souls who are in the inner quest of discovering one's path and purpose, which I think that's why we're probably all together, because I fall right into that. Shanna, I want to start with you first, and I want to start by sharing, and I want you to tell me the text message you texted me last night about this podcast and the question you asked.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're so used to doing audio. And so I asked if I should, if this was audio or video. And he said both. And I said, well, okay, I'll put on a bra.
And I was like, and I won't.
Well, I thought that was a great way to set the tone. I do want to do a little bit of background. Again, there's a reason I chose you two to be the very first on this podcast. Mandy, I wouldn't mind if you would maybe share that story from your point of view on how we brought that together. Because again, we all have different backgrounds and we had different lives, but we did come together, and which is a part of the universe. But I think it's a neat story, and I want you to share a little bit of that. And Shanna, you can jump in too when you're brought to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking about how we reconnected right now is truly a synchronicity and a blessing and a gift from the universe, because, Bill and I knew each other in high school. I followed him on Facebook and saw his adventures that he was going through in Arizona. And we'd talked maybe a couple times in inbox, but we definitely weren't like the best of friends, but there was something that always attracted me to his energy. And when Shanna and I decided to put our story out there, and with no intention except to maybe help just one person, we were literally doing it from our closets in our homes, having no idea how to podcast. And when we started thinking of guests, Bill came to our mind. Bill has a beautiful way to share his story with authenticity and vulnerability. And men, in my experience, struggle with that. So it was very attractive to me that he was able to bring that to the table. And so we asked him to come on our podcast.
I want to come back on that, Mandy. I want to get real about this.
Yes.
Because, and I appreciate you for sharing that. Because my side of the story is that you had done the video that I thought was so raw. And this was right when I was coming into my own awakening. And I reached out to you. It was just an authentic, it had been about 20 minutes long or more of you just talking about your addiction with alcohol and cocaine, and the life of, around sex and feeling like only being a sex object and those type of things growing up. It was so real and authentic. I was moving down the path, but that was a big inspiration for me to say, that's what I need to do, I want to do, and have to do. So that was a big leap for me. And then I shot you the message and reached out. Again, that's really vulnerable to be able to do that.
Yeah.
To say, here's this girl that I'm an acquaintance with, I don't know, but telling her that your video meant a lot to me, it spoke to me. But then I reached out to you and told you what I was doing. I want to hear your first response. And then also when you talk to Shanna, you guys can talk about, okay, what was the conversation? This guy reached out to me and I know him, but here was the thoughts.
Shanna, do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. And I'm like, so what's he about? She's telling me everything you guys discussed. And I was like, oh.
Go ahead and share it. Tell what it was. I mean, tell the story, because we don't want to
I was like, he has a porn addiction. He went as far as telling me his struggles and how it's created problems in his sex life. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. There were some what the fucks in there. I'm like, Shanna, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable with this. But at the same time, like, how cool that he was able to talk to me about like ejaculation and pornography.
And so I was like, he wants to talk about what? And then she's sending me some information, or it was maybe some social media or something I could look at you. And I was like, what the frick is FAP? And I'm just like, I have what? And my head's like blowing away. This guy that you haven't talked to, that went to high school with you, just called you and told you about how he masturbates, he has an issue, and then you want to have him on our podcast. Yes. And the best part was he shows up in his pajamas.
You both really did share with me. It's like, what the fuck, right? Is this guy? I mean, he could be a creeper. He could be a creeper.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I almost wore that onesie today.
Yes. But can you imagine telling your husband, which we just started podcasting, we barely had a year, if that. And yeah, I'm having an old friend over, in his pajamas to talk about masturbation.
In the bedroom alone.
Yeah. Don't mind us. We're having a threesome right now.